Howdy, hey, hello. Let's figure out if I remember how microphones work, because I'm not completely sure if I do. We're gonna get ready on the prep once I figure out if that's working. How microphones work, because I'm not completely sure if I do. Gonna get ready on the prep once I figure out if that's working. Alright, well, the stream seems to be working, so before I start an infinite loop of my own voice, let's go through what we're gonna get started doing today. I am going to be unmolding the dice that I made last night, the fireball dice, which hopefully aren't going to be a huge disappointment. I'm also going to be cleaning those up, cutting off any loose edges. I've left them maybe a little bit too late, so it might be a bit harder than it would have been if I was more efficient at this, but that's okay. After that, we'll be balling up foil into little bowls, which I'm sure is amazing content. And after that, we'll be trying to figure out how to rinse off and how to dry off some beans so that we can dunk them back into a resin that looks like the original source they were in to begin with, in order to try to make the cursed bean dice we're going to make tomorrow as clear and crystalline and jewelry quality as possible. You got to make sure those bean dice are amazing, right? Right. And then after that, we're going to try using the same molds that we're casting out of today to make some purple and blue kind of cloud sparkly dice that I've never made before. I've made the sparkly dice, I've made the cloud dice, I've never tried mixing the techniques together, so I'm going to try that as well. Then after that, we'll try to reclaim our sanity as we consider how exactly we're going to make baked bean dice tomorrow, and just how much resin I want to actually waste on that. That is the plan. If that goes well, I'll probably make dice out of peas and corn too. Won't that be amazing? Is the plan. If that goes well, I'll probably make dice out of peas and corn too. Alright, switching over to my other microphone, because strangely enough for a resin dice making stream, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is rinse off and wash some baked beans. I'm gonna have to get a little cup, keep a little bit of the sauce so that I remember what color that was when I try to mix colors later, and then we can get going with the slightly less cursed parts of the program. Thankfully, for anyone worried about food waste, this is a can that a mouse almost got into about a year ago that no one is ever gonna eat, so don't you worry about that. Alibot, I'm looking at you, don't eat the beans. Okay, switching over to the OBS camera now. At you, don't eat the beans. Okay. I'm assuming that works. Can I hear that from you? Alright, here we are in Bean Central. Nothing really fancy about this, but if I don't do this part first, the beans aren't going to be dry enough to cover in resin later, which not exactly what we're after. So I've just got a strainer, I guess, and I'm going to put it across my sink. I'm going to grab the beans. I'm going to find a little cup. 1 minute. Cuppy, cup. Gonna find a cup. Where would I find a cup for bean sauce? I was gonna find one of my special crafting cups, but then I realized that it's literally a can of beans. Why do I need a special crafting cup? So I'm gonna put the bean juice in the Simpsons cup, just so I've got a color reference for later. Alright, so open up the beans. The Heinz beans, one true for all, English recipe. The English will be very mad at me if I ever ask for citizenship. I think they're gonna tell me no. And one other thing, actually, while I'm here, I'll do it after I pour the beans, but I need to test how exactly I'm going to pick the beans up out of the sauce when I dip them in resin, because the issue here is, if I cook them in resin and they're really soft, I might just break the beans trying to get them out, and I can't scoop them out of the resin, because then I'll get big clumps of beans instead of individual resin-coated beans. It's a very complex process making a curse. Oh, careful phone, you already fell over once, don't do it again. So let's drain some of that sauce into my Simpsons cup there. Okay, I was a bit worried to begin with, but it looks like the beans are relatively fine there. I saw some broken ones on the top and I was wondering if I needed another can. The sauce isn't really going through the strainer. Funnily enough, I don't think that they intended you to strain your beans after you bought them. I'm gonna just get like a pastry brush or something and try to move the beans around a little bit. You obviously don't want to try squashing them into the fencing, which you would normally do for something like this, because the beans aren't particularly strong, obviously enough. Maybe I should have used a smaller cup, maybe that would have been better. Okay, I think that's about all the jostling the beans can handle, so let's take a look at what I got there. Disgusting. Yeah, I think that's enough to kind of just remember what color I need. I think that's fine. I'm just gonna wipe that off, and I'll be right back. Alright, that'll go to the side for a while, and now what I need to do is actually rinse off the rest of the sauce. The whole point of preparing the beans before making the set of dice is that if I try to make the dice straight up, what I'm going to get is, you're going to see the beans, it's going to be cursed, it'll be good enough, but you'll see like the dice are murky and they might actually like bend out of shape and they might interfere with the resin's curing. They'll definitely cause bubbles. If I do it this way and basically just remove the sauce just so I can add the fake sauce back in, you're going to get a much clearer result, I think. Funnily enough, I haven't made baked bean dice before, so I don't know for sure. So let's just rinse those off. One thing I'm hoping is it doesn't lose too much color when I do. I'm expecting them to go kinda white, but I'm hoping they still are stained red at least a little bit, you know? The more red-orange they are, the easier the dice will be to make overall. I'm going to have to turn that cap down a little bit, actually. I'm going to have to get the best beans, I think, from this process as well. I can see some dodgy beans. Like, you don't want this bean in your dice. That bean's only half a bean. Why would I want that? So, something I didn't think I was going to have to do is I might actually have to sort the beans. So that's interesting. But we can do that once we're away from the sink, I think. I think I'm going to get these over to a spot where I can put them on paper towel. I'll arrange the beans I like, I guess, onto a paper towel. And that way, by the time I've finished unmolding the dice from last night, which are a little nicer, but probably a similar color, we'll be able to cover them in resin to make them into perfect little high art inserts as my phone tries to fall into my sink. Hey phone, what's up? Could you not fall? I know you're in a very precarious position, but if you could just be nice to me, that'd be great. So I'm just gonna soak these beans, I guess, for a little bit. There are a bunch of broken beans, but I only need so many good beans for this. And obviously not every bean has to be perfect either. I just don't want to need like the really smashed ones, I guess. Funnily enough, if I'd gone out and remembered today, and I might do this off camera if it comes down to it. Actually, no, I won't be able to because the resin takes 24 hours to cure. I was going to say off camera I might actually get some beans from Coles, because they actually, because the beans are cheaper, funnily enough, they're less tightly packed, so there are less broken ones. But these will do. While I'm here though, I do want to check something, because I need to figure out a bean picking up method. I don't really want to pick up the beans in resin with my hands, and I can't think of another way I could pick the beans up without basically ending up with like a thin layer of resin underneath them, making them harder to use. So I've got a couple of pipettes I've specially designed for beans, and I'm gonna go grab those and see if I can use the suction to pick up them like one bean at a time, because that'd be the perfect result. 1 minute! Okay, so these generally have a bit of a better purpose, but I've got a little small one that I've modified and a little longer one that I've modified. And my hope is that when I actually like try to pick it up, it'll just pick up a whole bean, so I'll be able to kind of just only have one small non-beany surface. It doesn't seem to be picking the beans up, though I might have to do it. Oh, no, no, yeah, oop. Well, that was a bean. That's probably enough to... Ooh, the bean broke, though. Oh, did the pressure break the bean? If so, I can't do that, can I? Let's try it with the bigger one. I've got the smaller one that's a bit wider. It should have less pressure. Like, if I just pick up a bean... If I just pick up a bean... I said if I just pick up a bean... Just pick up a bean... These might not work, unfortunately. I'm probably going to end up having to use tweezers or just suck it up and use my fingers and get resin all over myself. That's unfortunate. Is this one definitely not going to work? That one's a good bean. The problem is I think this one actually uses too much pressure, so that when the bean gets released, it kind of smashes it a little bit. One advantage, actually, to having the beans pre-prepared is they won't be fragile anymore when I put them in the dice, too. Yeah, it seems like these won't work. I'm gonna have to just use my hands or tweezers. Safety warning, don't you ever do that. That's resin I'll be touching. Don't touch resin. Alright, just going to bring you guys back over to my normal crafting area, so bear with me while I attempt not to dox myself as I move to the next area. One sec. Okay, I've set up my very worthwhile and professional area, which definitely isn't just on the top of a lamp. So hopefully that's all coming through okay sound-wise. I'm just gonna make sure it's not like making big bumpy noises with the microphone. Yeah, as long as I don't literally hit the microphone, that seems fine. So let's move this back over just a little bit. I'm just trying to get the best angle. I thought I had a bit less of a zoom than this, but I guess that's okay. That seems like more or less correct. I don't know. So I'm gonna go grab the beans, and something I didn't think would have to do this stream is we're going to be sorting beans onto a paper towel, I guess. That'll be a thing we do. Okay. Gonna grab a plate and some paper towel, and we're gonna make just the saddest English breakfast anyone ever did see. I guess just 2 segments. Yeah, that's probably enough for beans. I don't fucking know. Oh, Jesus. Alright, there's my just the saddest English breakfast anyone's ever seen in their lives. Let us start sorting some beans into a paper towel so that by the time we actually cast with resin later, they're not still wet, so everything cures correctly. I do have a place to put them overnight, thankfully enough, where they'll harden into a much more usable state, but like, see that's like half a bean. Who wants half a bean in their dice? You just want full-bodied English, strongman beans, right? You want the best beans in the can, don't you? Don't want any weak-ass beans. Don't want any Mr. Beans, don't want any Jimmy Beans. I know 2 beans, I guess. So that's the end of those puns. They were super, super amazing. I'm sure there's half a bean again. Don't need that. So, just sorting beans. I wonder what happens when you roll a critical with a bean. Beans are the magical fruit, right? Do you manage to get a, beans are magical fruit, yeah? Do you fart on a natural 20, or do you fart on a natural 1, or does it depend on your class? Like, if you're a bard, I think farting would be a natural 20, because, that would be your instrument, right? If you've got bean dice and you're a bard, like, you are proficient in a trumpet, maybe? I think that would be it. I do think maybe the ability to get gold coins from a tavern should be reduced, but getting gold coins from a local fetish house maybe might have an advantage, huh? Totally changes the kind of game you're gonna play when you base it off your flatulence. That's right, that wasn't unhinged to say at all. Anyway, it seems like we do have a bunch of good beans. That's good. I was expecting far less good beans looking at that can, especially with how old these are. These are like years and years and years old. And I know these beans, if I hadn't messed with them, would probably last past the apocalypse. But, I still expected them to be a little bit more damaged. Funnily enough, I'm not actually hurting the beans in that regard though, am I? These are going to be like beans you find like in a Fallout game that you can't consume because they've got some sort of weird barrier around them, right? The beans of, hardened mystery. Fact of the matter is, these beans will have their life significantly expanded by my antics here. So won't that be lovely? More beans. It's very hard to keep talking about beans, wouldn't you know? It's almost like there aren't 100 or 1,000 conversation topics related to beans you can keep crapping on about for ages. And if we were making dice, I could do that until the cows came home, but, when we're just talking about beans, I have beans like maybe twice a year at most. I'm surprised I had beans at home. I would have just pretended corn won if I didn't have beans. Speaking of which, corn and pea dice soon. Kind of considering making a shepherd's pie. I'm sure many people would want to buy dice based on a shepherd's pie. They definitely won't just sit in my store for the next 20 years. People will be clamoring for the pie. They yearn for the shepherd's pie. Bean ones I actually do expect to sell. Funnily enough, I do actually think someone's going to want these. And based on how many beans I have, I'll probably have a few sets too. But in terms of a shepherd's pie set, not entirely sure. But it would be very funny to me. So I'd be super happy. Try. You know, I bet you can just buy fake baked beans, by the way. Like, I bet you there's somewhere where you could just, like, get a bunch of fake, like, rubber beans. But what's the fun in that? Like, do you really want dice that don't have luxurious, original, handcrafted, real baked beans in them? I don't think you do. I think you want the most exquisite and luxurious of beans. The ones that, if you didn't have them, an Englishman would be fawning over for his breakfast. Like, these beans have been rescued from English colonization. Their, you know, continuous expanse into the world is being halted one bean at a time. I'm going to encase these. They'll never be able to eat them again. These are going to be permanently inedible beans, finally free from the British Empire. We could all be a bit more like the beans. We could all be a bit more like the beans. Oh gosh, I think these would have gotten crushed in the pressure pot if I hadn't put them in resin, based on how soft they are, by the way. I think I mentioned in my previous stream, but no one on Earth watched that, so I'll mention it again. The pressure pot I use, most makers only cast their pressure in their pressure pot to about 30 or 40, but because I do the whole molding process myself, I have more granular control over how strong my molds are. My molds are cast at like 78 to 80 pressure, right? So I cast my dice at like 70 psi, which is like bomb levels of psi. That's, hey, you know, maybe someone needs to have a chat with you levels of psi. And the advantage to that is it's much harder to actually get a bubble in the dice. If I haven't like screwed something up with the actual molding process, which I do, then the dice are pretty much going to come out bubble free every time because it's a lot more pressure than the average. The way that works is you always have to pressurize your mold to be a higher pressure than the resin you're casting, because what happens is it gets compressed down, right? But if you mold it under more pressure, the resin will actually get into those compressed little... Oh, that one broke. Will get into those compressed little holes, and instead of having a nice, clean, like crystalline surface, what's going to happen is you're going to get like a lot of little weird pock marks, like as if like the dice became like a little mini, what are they called? Not Cat O' Tails, the mace things. Like, you know, like a paladin mace type thing. Like a lot of tiny little spines, like a cactus. Which isn't really what you want to grab onto when you're rolling your dice, huh? So that's why I always make sure to cast below that pressure, which I've definitely lost my train. Whatever. Point being, I don't think these beans would survive 70 psi. 70 psi is a lot stronger than what I'm doing here, and half the beans are still falling apart. Also, I thought I wasn't going to waste too much resin on these beans. I feel like this is a lot of beans. This is actually a very fair amount of beans. I'm gonna be like probably $20 worth of resin on these. Well, actually, it's not $20 worth. That's being hyperbolic, but it's gonna be more than I thought. I was thinking, oh, this would be an insignificant, like, bottom of a cup. I'd have to cut a cup in half. I might be using like half a real cup of resin. Like, I've got to... No, that doesn't work either. I've got to remember that I'll be dunking them, so they're going to have a bit less resin on them than if I was casting them in a block, I guess. Because I only need to coat the surfaces, I don't need to encase them in the resin. We're getting down to some dregs here. Oh, beans ain't looking good, guys. Bean gate. We're yearning for the beans, and all we're getting is mush. Unfortunate. Do better, Heinz. Do better. Is that what that guy says? I don't know. Nope, that doesn't work. I'm gonna have to make sure there's no beans on my bloody mat after I do this, because I'm gonna need my mat to be relatively clear. The next thing we're doing is a bit more actual dice making focused, where we're going to be pulling the dice from the previous cast out of the pressure pot. These were the fireball dice that I made last night, which had a red and a yellowy orange two-tone, and a white smoke
cloud on the inside, hopefully enough. They're going to be called bushfire dice, because Australia, haha, bushfire. I was hoping at one point to make a set of dice like that had black smoke inside, and they failed miserably. In fact, for me, they're not even that hard to make. Fireball dice have been cursed for me at every turn. I've tried to make, like, proper fireball dice, like, I think 5 times now. 3 times the resin cured because it was so hot in Australia. It was like 30-40 degrees or something. So instead of like taking like 45 minutes to an hour to cure, that resin actually cured within like 20 minutes. So instead of having like nice pretty dice, the resin turned solid as I was pouring it, turning it into just a big, solid, terrible mess. That happened like twice in a row. And then like another one, the resin I was using turned out to be like a shit resin, which I would never actually like feel happy selling to people. So I couldn't use that one either, which was great. And then finally, I tried to make one with black smoke, which didn't turn out to be a bad set of dice, but the black just blended in with the red and made dark red dice. I understand now that I probably should have just mixed a little bit of black into white pigment, which sounds counterintuitive, but the white pigment would be for the weight and the black would be for the colorant. That would be how you do that in the future. Yeah, those ones failed as well. Means I'm hoping from last night, since I used like, I don't know, 10% of the resin I own, that the fireball dice add correctly for once. Oh my god, I am touching so many beans. This is a lot grosser than you would think looking at it. If anyone's actually looking at the preview of this on like the Twitch homepage or whatever, I don't even know where these show up. I've never actually looked at the DIY category myself. If anyone's looking at my stream right now, they're like, why is this guy just been picking beans for, what is it, like 20 minutes? Oh gosh. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Almost there, by the way. I think we've got maybe like 10 to 20% of the beans left. They're getting a bit harder to sort through because now, like, bits of mashed bean are getting stuck in my hand. And like I said, these pre-exist a couple of mice that made it to my house last year. So there is like a bit of a worry that these beans are contaminated, so you can't just like lick the sauce off my hands or anything. Like, it is just gross. But we get in there. I think we've almost finished with the bean sorting segment, which is not on my to-do list up there. But very, very important thing. Like, obviously, this is one of those defining moments that you put on your resume. You know, I was a team leader, I was someone who managed to organize people around me and inspire them, and I sorted the beans by hand for everyone to enjoy. Honestly, probably actually gets you on a different kind of list. Or, alternatively, Ellibot, hello, I know you're watching, you can't eat the beans, these aren't for you. Go eat some real food, stop downing cans of beans, I need them to make dice. They're my dice beans now. Longer for you, you have to eat your food now. Moving on from that, nope, that's all squishy and weird, and what have you done? Almost done. Almost done. Ooh, here's some good beans. Yeah. Oh, who doesn't love a good bean? That's what she said. That's the first time I made a joke about a bean. That's the she said joke. I've been very mature. I deserved that one. That one was for me. That one was a treat. That one was a special treat for me being so good and not referring to anyone by bean. Other body parts are available. Almost done. Then I can stop thinking about freaking beans. Alright, this is all we got left. This is all we gotta do. We're just gonna sort through the beans, then we're done, and we're gonna throw away the weird reject beans, which I can't even, like, repurpose. And we'll let them dry for a while. We're gonna spread them flat on this paper towel. And then we'll get to basically washing my hands, and then taking out the dice from last night, taking them out of the molds, seeing if I screwed them up, which, I don't know. Every single mold I used last night was a new mold, so don't super know how they work necessarily. I made all of those molds, but obviously you gotta use them a couple of times to really see how they're gonna function. I know one mold from the original, just the process of making it, is probably gonna be a bit more of a pain than the others, but it's because I had to crowd it. I didn't have any silicon left, so I had to cram as many in there as I could. In retrospect, it was another mold that didn't deserve as much silicon as it got, but too late for that now. Too late for that now. Okay. 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 Riveting. Alright, that's a bean. Hey, that's a bean. Hey, have you seen that? I think that might be a bean. Oh, there's a bean over there. Hey, have you tried this bean, by the way? Hey, look, a bean. That's a rare find. Alright, I think that is all the beans we're gonna get out of that. I think I need to use my other hand to kind of layer them, like, just a little more. Yeah. I was gonna just let them dry in the air, but I think there's a bit more bean surface area than I expected. They may not dry in time. Like, you can see the paper towels already getting kind of wet. I'm gonna do something incredibly stupid and risk fate, and I'm gonna turn my oven on to the lowest setting. I'm going to chuck those in there so that it works as a food dehydrator, so that the beans are ready in time to be dunked into resin, so I can make dice out of them later. Yay! I need to wash my hands. I will be a moment. I am washing my hands. Alright. So I'm just going to turn the oven on, I guess. And then we're going to chuck these beans in the oven. Definitely not immediately forget about them when I do it. And then consider why I didn't just buy white beans and color them orange. I did think the beans would be a little stronger. But that's a lot of beans. That's enough for way more dice than I was gonna make. If anyone wants extra bean dice later, you know who to call. Alright, be right back. One sec. I'm putting... So the beans are quote-unquote dehydrating in the oven now. Lovely. And we're just going to grab some handfuls of beans we have left over and get them the fuck out of here. That is just... it's too many beans. If I have these here when I'm trying to clean my dice up, I'm going to ruin what should be a pretty porcelain finish. Like, I'm expecting the dice I made to come out quite well, and I actually think the bean juice might ruin them a little. So I am a little concerned about that. Wowee, guys. Wowee. Oh, I say guys. Wowee me. Wowee.
no one's doing this to me but myself. I'm doing it to myself for no one. Oh, does that make it better or worse? I don't know. Like, at least if someone was watching, I'd be doing it for the content. But this is for me. I've chosen this. I want to do the bean thing. This is my treat. And that's more disturbing than doing it just for the viewers, huh? Beans in the... Right, there's not a huge point in doing this, but I am... I would bring you over to the pressure pot, but I honestly just can't be bothered moving the phone. My very, very professional setup has me just tying a phone to a boom arm up here, and quite frankly, it's just not worth bringing you over to the pressure pot. I'm going to release a valve, it's going to make a big loud noise, I'm going to make a joke about how it's going to explode. Let's just open it and let it do its thing. You're just missing me struggle with a wrench. I will BRB. Oh, I forgot the microphone was still on. That's fine. That's how you do it. Hey, I'm learning. Okay. So, bear with me. I just want to double check that the microphone's working. This is the first time I've used this setup, and I need to... Oh, I thought that was bean juice. It's actually resin. I just need to double check the microphone's working, because this is the first time I've used this setup, and I might have been rambling in silence this whole time. I don't know. So I just want to double check that. One sec. You're going to hear an echo, probably, I guess. I don't know. And I might have been rambling in silence this whole time. I don't know. So I just want to double check. Actually, I should be doing that like this, shouldn't I? Probably, I guess. I don't know. Actually, I should be doing that like this, shouldn't I? Probably, I guess. I don't know. Okay, that does work. I think. I don't know if I'm loud enough or not, but that's fine. I'm just gonna keep going anyway. Screw it. Let's get the dice ready. I'm gonna just, I think I have alcohol or something somewhere to spray my hands with. Yeah, there we go. Because I think I still have baked beans on them, and I really don't want to get baked bean juice on what might end up being a master cast of dice. Like, that's not what I'm going for. Oh my god, I'm about to go crazy because I'm hearing myself on the screen. That was sending me absolutely nuts. Alright. So that's all ready to go. I'm definitely going to forget that the oven's on. So, I have this whole tray of dice. And what I need to do is I need to take all the dice out, see if there are bubbles. Then I need to grab my knives that I definitely remembered to bring with me. My knives. Need to cut off any irregularities on the lowest side of the dice while they're still soft, because it's much easier to do it now than it is to do it later. Hopefully you're allowed to have a big fucking briefcase of knives on Twitch. TOS soz. Anyway, I am actually a little afraid of these knives, because when I was in university, I managed to sit on one of these that was in my bag while I was on the bus. My lecturer hated me at the time, so instead of going to the hospital, I walked into class with a big bloody rip in my leg down my jeans all the way, like, you know, very, very obviously cut open, right? And they immediately told me to go to the hospital, which was the correct thing to do because I had very, very narrowly missed my artery. Don't sit on a scalpel. It's generally not the recommended way to use them. Who would have known? Who could have told me? Why didn't anyone tell me? Don't sit on the scalpel. It's not meant to go up your, well, it wasn't up my ass, it was on my thigh, but, you know, close. Alright. Let's start with the less important molds, just to see if my process worked in general. I have that mold that I don't remember what's inside. This mold, which I think are D6s. I have this mold, which should be a bunch of D4s. I have this mold, which I think is my new style of dice that I basically rescued from bad manufacturers. And this is the one that I made from scratch, molds and all. Well, not molds and all, sorry. 3D models and all is what I meant to say. Is that a better angle? I can't. Oh, no, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in, crazy. It's already too zoomed in. You're crazy. Don't ever do that. I think if I manage to tilt this a bit, I might get a bit more screen real estate. How far up does that go? Can I get it over here a bit more? I just need it somewhere where I'm not accidentally going off screen the whole time, which is what I'm currently doing. Is that a bit better? That seems a bit better. Yeah, let's say that's better. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this one, because this is the one I want to do last. I'm saving that one as a surprise for myself. We're going to just go for the one where we don't really care if it was good or not, might not even try to clean it up. Also, I have a container that I put aside to put all the dice in. Here they are, found it. You probably won't be able to see that on screen, I guess. Oh, you will. But that's going to be where I put a bunch of dice. I'm just going to put these here as well because they're pretty and someone might see them on camera when they're looking through the streams. So let's open this one up and see what we got. These ones weren't a set of the two-tone dice. These, from memory, were because I had spare resin. This was a dump mold. Oh, I didn't bring a bin with me. That's a thing. I forgot how messy this is. I haven't actually cast any new dice for a week or two because I've been making the new molds, right? So I kind of got a couple of the materials I need to do this. But it should be okay. I should have everything kinda set there. I will clean that up better off stream later. Hip hip hooray, yippee.
Alright, so we're just getting the flashing off right now. It's easier to get it off right now than it is after you remove the dice. And what I personally like to do is something that I definitely have prepared right now and didn't forget to do. Please ignore any cutting sounds you might hear. There we go. Got that sniffing sound. Got a bit of a sinus thing going on. Also, is my water here? Water anywhere? Does my water exist? Do I exist? Well, I found the water, but I'm pretty sure I don't exist still. Pretty sure the existential crisis there was solved, just not necessarily in my favor. One second, I'm just making sure that I've got everything set up correctly. Yes, I do. Okay. So here's my bottle from when I was a medical lab rat. They paid me money to make sure no one dies when you take their medicine. It's pretty good. Anyway, I just put water in it now. I like to drink out of it. I've got a shirt too. Reminds me of the better times. And they took blood from me 18 times a day. I still had some left at the end, I think. So, gonna grab this doohickey. We're gonna find wherever that. I'm pretty sure this is mostly alcohol. I'm hoping this is mostly alcohol anyway. So we're gonna spray that, and this is what I like to do that I don't see too many crafters do, and it makes things so much easier. And it won't wear out the mold, or at least the bits of the mold that are important, because you've still got the dice in there when you're doing it, right? If you just rub with alcohol like this after you've cracked it, you get all the loose resin off of it before you actually get the dice out. And that wasn't filled with what I thought it was, so that was a bad example. There should not be white residue in there, so clearly that wasn't the material I thought it was. But in general, you do that, right? And what happens is you actually end up with something. Oh no, I think it's polish on that. That's why. That's kind. There we go. Got it. But you end up getting all of this stuff that's on the mold. That's kind of usually just a leftover thing that you have to clean really carefully out. And then you don't really have to clean your dice molds too properly when you're done. I'll rub this one down as well. I'm not sure if I want to rub it down with this or not, based on what I saw there. Do I still? I can't quite tell. I can't quite tell if there's polish on this or something. If there is polish, then I don't want to be using this. One sec. I might use... I might just use this guy instead, just to double make sure. But the advantage of doing this is, yeah, you don't really actually have to clean the molds afterwards, which is kind of a big deal, soaking and doing the molds. We're going to be using these exact same molds at the end of the stream today to make the new dice, and it's going to be exactly the same as if I'd cleaned them. So that is a pro tip for anyone who's as lazy as I am. Alright, this red isn't as transparent as I hoped, which does not bode well for the original fireball dice. That's unfortunate, but to be fair, these aren't the shiniest molds, so it still might be okay. Fireball dice, as I've mentioned, are quite cursed. The camera doesn't pick it up very well. It is actually relatively see-through still. I don't know if I can get to focus in on it or not. I'm using a camera app on the phone, which I don't super usually use, so... Oh, that's my roof! Yeah, I don't know if I can get that quite on camera, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as it looks, and this particular dice is actually cast from a metal dice, so you would expect it to be less transparent than the rest. It doesn't have a clean polish... It doesn't have a clean polished surface. It has a very matte metal kind of brushed iron finish. This is actually cast from dice you can buy in my store today. I just had some extra silicone when I was doing something, and these were a good fit. So one thing you do, and I did that backwards by mistake, but one thing you do when you get the dice out, if you can help it, is the one side is always going to have a bit of flashing on it. So you do what you can to try to get rid of that now. This is the softest the resin will ever be. So if you can just, without cutting your finger off, get a bunch of that off, it'll make your life easier later. Like, oftentimes you still have to, almost cut my thumb. Oftentimes you still have to... Oh, this is harder to do while talking than I thought. Oftentimes you still have to sand the dice afterwards anyway, but it's like the difference between sanding for like half an hour and sanding for like a couple of minutes. Super useful, and I use a Sure 85D hardness resin, which is stronger than actually most other plastics you'll find. Like, you'd find it very hard to scratch one of these. So once it does harden, you kind of shit out of luck. So best to do it now while you can. And what we're doing is we're just kind of lightly scraping a knife across it like that. There are better ways of doing it. But this is the way that is the laziest and most repeatable and the easiest for me. And if you give me a lazy, effective way to do something, that's the way I'll probably do it forever. Until I find a way to improve that process, of course. Alright, so you probably can't see it because the camera is not the highest focus camera. But you can see here that now it doesn't look like it's got like ridges and things like that across the one side. That's what we were looking for. That had like big ridges before, and now it's just the little kind of marks on the sides. So that's fine. Can I get this to... I wonder. I'm just using this to see if my camera autofocuses or not. Then I put them down there. Does it focus? Yeah, it does autofocus. Okay. In fact, it might be autofocusing on those. I might need to get those out of the frame. Alright, let's pull out the other dice that was in this mold. This dice should be a little bit more see-through, if nothing else. But yeah, no, the red is just very strong. You can kind of see there how it's, you know, definitely a bit more see-through than the other one. It's not amazing, but, you know, it did come out very glittery, and if I was filming in a non-streaming environment, I could get a better shot of it. I think that came out okay. The question is, it come out in a way where you can easily see colors inside of it, you know what I mean? And this will get clearer over the next couple of days as the outside does get harder. It's not at its full hardness yet, which is actually why we're casting them right now. So it is every opportunity that that'll be fine. It's just something we can't know for sure just yet. Also, oftentimes, even if you don't like a dice, try painting it first. Oftentimes you paint the dice and you're like, hey, actually they do have a vibe. You know, it's important to remember that things tend to work out as long as you use the quality process to get them. Oh god, I sound like someone's dad. Does it have a scratch on it? Or a hair in it? I think this one might have a hair in it. Speaking of quality materials, this one might have a big white hair from my beard in it. That's lovely. Can't quite tell. I'll have to look at that one off camera later to see if that's just a string of resin or if that's... Oh no, yeah, no, it's still there. Yeah. It's a bit hard to diagnose now. I'd have to look at it a bit harder. It's not worth it. We'll figure that one out, and if it does have one of my beard hairs in it, I guess I won't sell it. Funnily enough, I don't think people are going to be clamoring for my beard. Like, I know there's that one guy in Australia that makes beer out of yeast that he makes in his beard, but that ain't me, bro. That ain't me. Hey, there we go. Like, I was going for a bit more of a transparent red. I was hoping, like, it'd be more see-through. Like, you can probably tell you can see through it. But I was really hoping for something where you'd see that white quite clearly through it. Next time I make the fireball dice, I'm probably going to use even less of the red than I did this time. Alright. So that was the least important mold. Let's put that one back together and put that to the side. And now we're going to move on. No, I've set this up stupid. Alright, we'll move on to what I think are the D6 dice, which usually have a bit of flashing. I got to break off on the bottom because the mold, I don't want to say it's getting old, but you know, I've cast it a few times. It's got to that point where, you know, it's definitely not a new mold, I guess. It's still quite shiny, quite good, though. Like, I didn't make this one that long ago. Seems like this one actually held together pretty well, so I'm not expecting bubbles in the top. Did I get any bubbles in the... I didn't. Lovely. So if nothing else, the dice work well. I don't even have to clean the top, like all of the flashing ended up on the bottom, so that's great. That's always good when life is easier. Get rid of some of those big chunks of resin. And now we will, as you can see, there's like a layer here that you gotta peel off when you start. And it's important to do that not just to make things easier, but because it also gets in these ridges here, these are keys that you use to make sure the molds fit together exactly the way you want them to, which is why the bubbles don't really form. And if they're still in there when you try making a new set of dice, your mold's not going to close properly, and half your dice are going to be completely ruined, and you're going to waste all your time, and it's going to be a whole thing. This is really thick flashing. This is usually much easier to remove. There you go. There you go, there you go, there you go. There you go, there you go, Camry Crows. I don't even watch football. Do. Alright, there we go. Do you think I said there we go that many times, huh? I mean, I know I'm talking to myself, but even I noticed that. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're just trying to get this stuff off, and I just need to switch a window around real quickly. No, I said real quickly. I said real quick. I say real quickly. There we go. God, it is so weird trying to somewhat be the content while doing this. Usually when I record dice making, it's like I do this for my own purposes. It's so that I have footage of what worked and didn't work with a certain set of dice. So I can look at my old stream, figure out what I did, and if I liked it, I can write down exactly the process so I can make that set of dice again every time. So if these fireball dice are what I want, I know exactly how I did it, and if there were any like special circumstances, and if they're not, then I know what to avoid or change because I can listen to myself talking back, right? But it's so strange to be doing this not in silence. Generally, when I make a video, I record all the audio afterwards, and now having to talk live instead of, you know, watching a D&D podcast or something. Shout out to Legends of Evantris. I instead have to try to be entertaining, which is interesting, and definitely not my forte. These didn't come out how I wanted. Oh no. It's still kind of cool. You see it's got like a little cloud on there? That's what I was going for with the cloud, but I wanted like a red side and an orange side, and it's just kind of all orange. Now, these did have more orange in them, so that might not be true of the other dice, but it ain't looking good, boys and girls. I might just have generic oranges, which, you know, I can still sell, but they definitely won't be the price I was going to charge for them. He's going to buy me dinner one day, now they probably won't. Let's get them all out then. These are still pretty. Like, you probably can't see it on camera because they're behind, like, the purple thing. But these are fairly pretty dice. They've got, like, glitter and a fireball thing, and there's a cloud inside there. Oop, and there's a cloud, which the camera can't see, but you can see in person. I might need a better focusing camera, or at least, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get that 6 on the top, and I'm becoming... There we go. You can see like there's a little bit of white in there, but you can't really see it. Like, I thought I was using less colorant than normal this time, but like I need to use even less than that, which is crazy because you can actually see in this one how it should have turned out. At least I can. I don't know if you can. If I turn the light on, there's a light I can turn on. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light somewhere. There's a light. There we go. Is that? Yeah, there you go. Now you can see it. So you see how it's got like these like little yellow tones and like a cloud on the inside?
It didn't really go quite how I intended, but you can see like what the kind of idea there is. This is what it looks like more in real life, and you can see how it's prettier than what I was trying to show you before. Should I leave that light on? Is that accurate when it's down here? No, it just, well, a little bit. Let me take a look. Yeah, kind of. I might want to be leaving that light on, just for the stream, probably. Not too bright, is it? I think it's okay. Let me take a look at these in the light as well. That'll really show whether it works or not. It also washes out the colors a little bit. It's not perfect. Don't know. But I'm going to turn the light off for now because it blinds me. It blinds me, it blinds me, it blinds me. There we go. That is so... Yeah, actually, I think the light needs to stay on. That's just too dark, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to turn the light on. One sec while I also plug the phony wony inny winny ooh. One sec. Because otherwise, it's going to run out of battery halfway through the stream. Like, this stream is still going to take a while. We're only a small part way through. So, let's just, no, don't dox everything in my room. No, don't show the world that I live in filth. Why isn't it? It's having issues. It's what you get when your stream setup is just a phone on a stick. There you go. That'll have to do. You're gonna be a little bit on an angle. That's just how it's gonna be. Oh my god, the light doesn't even look better anyway. I might actually take this pink thing away. It's probably discoloring stuff. No, even that. Yeah. Alright, well, I just have to... I'm gonna turn the light off if it's just gonna be like that. I just have to make peace with the fact that they're not gonna look as good on the stream as they do in real life. Okay, let's finish unmolding the rest of these. Bam, and a bam, and a bam. Oh, they just look red though. They're not red, they're orange. I promise you, they're orange. One sec. I do have like an actual professional light. One moment. Shout out to Small Rig, the worst light I could possibly find of this type, which has bulged into like this weird friggin' deformed thing. It lasted maybe like 3 things until it immediately broke. They're amazing. It was cheap though. Probably because it was a Chinese ripoff of a real brand. Oh yeah, I forgot I was using that at the beginning of the stream. Not quite the color we're going for. I don't think crafting in this is really going to quite do it for people. How do I get back to normal? Oh my gosh, can I not? Oh, there it is. Alright. Oh, this is electrocuting me. I felt that. Oh, I'm going to have to get rid of that at some point. Is that any better, or is that just exactly the same issue? That's my question. Yep. It's a little better. The colors are still off, but they're not as bad as they were. I think that's a win. Alright, so this mold, there's no residue inside. Oh, apart from that. Yep, seems good. So just you chuck it back together like that, and that just prevents it from drying out later, and that's all bish bash bosh. So that one can go into the pile of done stuff, and I'm going to be cutting the sides off of these for a little bit, which I'm going to do on a white surface, so maybe they look a little bit more like the color they're supposed to be. I don't know. Good thing these streams are for me. Alright.
So let us start just, we just want to grab the side of a one like this, right? We just want to cut off any of the flim-flam on the edges. What is this song? Am I a sneaky little sneak thief? Okay, well, whatever. That's fine. Oh, I'm on a boat, apparently. Thankfully, one of the things you can do at this point is it is hard enough that your nail is only going to rip off things that are excess. Like, most of this is one solid piece, and there's just, like, a little kind of film that isn't. I very routinely cut myself doing this, so hopefully I don't do that on camera. I imagine Twitch isn't super keen on blood. I immediately cut myself on camera. I hope Twitch is super keen on blood. And that's why you don't cut towards yourself, or put your finger directly in the way so you can cut towards yourself. I don't think it's bleeding though, I think it's actually fine, so we're just gonna keep going and ignore that I did that, huh? We're all gonna pretend that I've never hurt myself in my life. Yeah, can you see that properly now? I think it should be a little better. Like, there's a cloud in there. Like, in person, it's very clear. Like, I just don't think the camera's gonna quite pick it up. Which is unfortunate. Like, I imagine part of the point of a crafting stream is to be able to actually see what the person's crafting. But not so much this time, right? Not so much this time. Well, at least when I make the baked bean ones, it'll be obvious, huh? You know, not much you gotta do when it comes to baked beans to make them visible on a camera, I bet. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of this cutting, because I have quite a lot of dice that I cast all at once. Which, it's a little unfortunate that they all ended up in the same kind of, formation, but that's okay. None of them are bad so far, they're just not what I was going for necessarily. Like, the worst thing is you pick out a bunch of dice and you look at them and you just go, oh, they're ugly, I hate them. I have some dice I refer to as my meat dice, and I think every crafter has at least one set of meat dice, which, like, I can't even bring myself to get rid of them, but they're terrible. I really should throw them away. I don't think I could even give them away. I think I'd get like a 1-star review if I even tried to give them to someone for free. It was supposed to be like candy cane dice. Like, they're supposed to be like, yeah, I think that might have been even too much. Oh no, the cloud did come all the way through. Maybe I didn't put enough of the cloud in these ones, even. I'll have to see on the other ones that I definitely put a bit more in. Like, these are good. And they definitely look better in person than they look on the camera. Like, you'd be surprised at the difference. Oh, I'm not even holding them in camera. Yeah, they look even better if you can see them, huh? Sorry, I was very focused there. Was I just cutting it? Oh my gosh, I was cutting off camera, wasn't I? Maybe if I do this, then I can be on camera more often, because my hands want to rest around here. Alright. So I have no idea what I was saying. Oh yeah, I was trying to make like candy cane, like pink and white, really cute dice, right? And I did that by making a suspension that was pink and white and waited for it to get to the honey stage so they would mix less when I poured. And when they came out of the pressure pot, unfortunately, they were fresh meat. Like, if you had slaughtered a cow and put them in a set of dice, that would have been the exact same. They were absolutely lovely. They were just the best dice. Like, you actually could, like, there is something to be said for the fact that they could be used for like a Terraria Wall of Flesh type set. Like, if someone really just wanted like a, you know, necromantic gross set of dice, there actually probably is like someone who would want them, but I am too embarrassed to even try to sell those. Like, those are on my shit list. Sure, let's cut towards ourselves, that's always safe. There we go. Alright, again, I just don't know if you can see the insides, but there's like clouds and stuff in here. I need a better phone so people can actually see stuff. But you know, you see that little, definitely not suggestive little white guy in there? They're in all of them. Like it looks like, you know, wind has blown. This one might be better. Like you see how there's like kind of, you really don't see it. I'm gonna keep saying this a million times, but yeah, like I almost need to have like a light I can hold up to it to show you. Which I could do, but I'm using it to light the area, so I can't. Maybe next stream I can have an actual light source that I can shine through it to actually show you what the damn things look like. You're probably not supposed to swear too much. I almost said a naughty. Alright. So let's just keep cutting across these. This is going to take a while. This is not the quickest process in the world. Realistically, you could probably get away with just sanding these particular ones because it is just a flat edge the entire time. But I don't want to get my sander out. And I think it would be loud for the stream anyway, which would be annoying and no one would want to have to deal with. So we're just going to pretend only viable way of definitely the most efficient. There we go. Yeah, I think next time I need to use less pigment even. Like, I'm really surprised. I only used a few drops, but I guess the pigment was just strong. Like, it was just more than I expected, which is funny, because I think I've used the orange before. Here's an orange test I did before, and I think somehow it's stronger, but I used more pigment in this one. So, who knows how that works? Thing across the edges. Again, this will take a while. I probably won't be able to yap on the entire time I'm doing this, mostly because I'm going to also be focusing on not injuring myself as I do it. But I'll give it a shot. This is the point where I would usually lock in and listen to this podcast, but I guess that's not in the cards today. That's okay. Yeah, that's relatively good. Only a whole bunch more to go. Nothing else. This will get my stream hours up, but probably not my viewership, because I doubt anyone's going to watch me just cut dice edges for like an hour. In the future, this might not specifically be streaming. This part is very samey every time. I'll do it with the baked bean. I think that'll be funny. I'm looking forward to beans still in the oven, and I should check on the baked beans before I die. Oh no. Tell you what, the oven's not on very strong. I will, once I've cut these dice, just make sure that they haven't been cooked through. If they have been cooked through, I will only cry a little bit. Like, I'll only weep a couple of tears. It'll be fine. There we go. I mean, I'm sure the nobody in the world watching are really gonna miss me when I go to them. Like, it's gonna be, like, a very tragic event when the absolutely fucking no one who's watching me have to do without my voice for a minute or two. Alright. Let's keep cutting this. Bish bash bosh. Try not to stab yourself with a knife. That's generally not where it goes. Unless you're in a prison yard, and then who even knows? So, here we are. I really wanted to make Easter dice this year, by the way, and I couldn't do it. There's a thing called dice blanks, and what you do is you put these like small little foils and things on like a set of smaller dice that you then insert in the middle, and then just cast them frickin' clear. And doing that allows you to make like little, like very detailed designs in the dice that you wouldn't normally like be even possible, right? Which side's on the bottom? Is it the 1 side? 6 side. I think this might have floated. Like the 6 is surely at the bottom, right? Yeah, I'll have to think about that. But yeah, no, I wanted to make Easter dice. I wanted to get like a bunch of Easter candy, get the Easter patterns off the foil, use the foil to make the dice, right? And it turns out that the entire world is boring now. When I was a kid, you used to be able to get these Easter foil things, right? And every egg would have like cool Easter designs and like, sorry, am I hearing myself? No. Used to be able to get like cool Easter designs and like patterns and like little things on the eggs. Like every egg was, a little cartoony, colorful, patterny thing, right? And I went into my local Kohl's, and every design was boring, single color, probably saves them $0.01 per million to make, and devoid of joy. So I couldn't make any. I don't have a foil printer. And that was very sad. I wanted to make some special dice. I wanted people to get to enjoy something cool. I do actually have some really pretty foils that I do plan to use, which I'm not going to bother getting right now because this is already taking quite some time to do. I still am going to do the idea with some really cool Cosmic Nebula foils. Whoever gets those dice are really lucky actually, because I don't even know where to get those foils from a second time. Once those are sold, there will be no second dice of that type, that's for sure. But they're these really cool galaxy things that I think are going to look just amazing in a set of dice. The only shame is that I couldn't have done it with Easter stuff too, just as like a test run, you know? Which is fine, but like when did we start prioritizing just the extra 5 cents of profit a company can make compared to just putting a couple of cartoons on an egg, right? Oh well. Oh welly welly welly. Alright, so just scraping the sides. Just accidentally scratching the sides. And only a few more of these dice to go before I get to actually open up a new set and see how they look. Which I'm less excited for than I could be, but you know what? I think it'll turn out fine. And when I actually take the photos on my store, you'll be able to see that they're not crap, and they actually do look good. The autofocus is doing no favor for it. Oh, did the music switch to a dungeon? I have, oh, it probably has switched actually. I have like a playlist going that's got, apparently small town music, but this seems more like, exploration of a dungeon lab. I might need to change this. This would probably be more appropriate for the Bean stream, like something adversarial, right? But probably not so much for this particular one, so let's, I've got 2 left. I will finish doing these and then I'll do the 2 or 3 things I need to do. It'd be worth finishing these so I don't just leave them half done. Let's just try not to cut ourselves too much as we go. These are incredibly sharp. These actually come with their own whetstone, so you can keep these bad boys very, very sharp. And you definitely don't want it lodged in your skin. I'll tell you that from experience. Very evil dice. I don't know if these are bushfire dice. Like I had a very specific goal in mind. I wonder if I need to pressurize them less. I wonder if maybe the colors got pressured together even. I'll have to think about that. Because this wouldn't be the first time this has happened. Like, you can't see it, but I can see that there is a yellow and orange tone to it, so depending on where the light is, you can see orange, and depending where the light is, you can see yellow. And actually, you're getting kind of a good look at the dice there, where you can see the inside clouds, but it's just not quite what you would hope. You'd hope for something just a little bit more, I don't know. I I'm hoping the other dice today very specifically was making on purpose, so I actually measured the ratios out a bit more in line with my expectations. Because there is a relatively high chance that these were a dump mold. Like, I didn't expect to make these during the stream yesterday. So there is actually a relatively high chance that these come out okay. Also, either the music has stopped or my ears have stopped, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that. What did I have playing? My ears stopped. I'll just play that one. I don't know if I already played that one, but it's the one we're playing now. Because I don't even know where the tab that had the previous music is. So, now we're gonna just listen to this one instead, I guess. Let's see. Can you even see that? Not really. Sort of. Yeah, like even the glitter doesn't really come off properly. Like I think the light actually is worse even. Let me turn that off again. I keep... Oh wait, no, the light is off, isn't it? Yeah, that's a different light. Oh, actually, with two lights you probably can see it. Yeah, there you go. So this is what the dice actually looks like, in case you were curious. If I can get my hands out of the way of it. Even that's not quite right, but you get the idea. It's got like a thing in it. Let's try to move on to not burning my house down. I will be right back as I try not to die. Hooray! Okay, the beans definitely were in there for too long. The house isn't completely on fire, but the beans are ruined. Luckily, I have second can of beans. That's right. Not one, but 2 cans of beans, which I'm going to be a lot less careful with because I am too lazy to pick them out and dry them again. That's fine. They will just be beans. I've washed the sauce off them. They'll dry out as we go. There'll be beans, there'll be beans, there'll be beans, there'll be beans. There'll be beans. Anyway, let's just keep progressing. We have 3 molds left still. I think this one might be the D4 mold. This one I've never used before. In fact, I've never made a D4 mold before. And in fact, I can see through the light that this isn't the D4 mold. And now that I've been talking about it, I kind of want to do the D4 mold. So it's this one instead. Haha! Okay. Let's take a little look-see-wook-see. I'm pretty excited to use this one. I think this mold is probably one of the ones that came out the most nicely out of my recent ones. So I kind of hope to see a bit of a difference in these ones compared to the previous ones. You may still not see it on camera, but ultimately we should end up with some better stuff. We'll just have to see how that goes as I undo this for the first time ever. There we go. Yeah, you can see already that they look different on the top. I believe I might have put white on the top of these ones even. And there are no bubbles, so this is a full set of dice. Generally, I haven't sold these yet, but my plan is to turn these into 2 sets of 4 basically, and if someone wants the full set they can buy it for a bit of a discount. But this is just something so like not everything on the store has to be like, you know, some high expensive item or whatever. Like I can have some like cheaper stuff for people. I think it's important to have a mix. Like not everything is the biggest artisan craft in your store, you know what I mean? Like some people would still like to be included, even if they're not like, you know, loaded, right? That's the thing I see with a lot of crafters. Like obviously this work, you know, costs money and time and deserves to be compensated, etc., etc. But like some people do overvalue it a bit much. I'm definitely undervaluing. Not that you can tell by the stream where they all look kind of whatever, but I can show you if you had a camera. I guess the big crafting streams probably just use real cameras with real lenses and not just an Android phone on a stick, huh? I wonder why. I wonder what the difference is, huh? Oh well. That's okay. Again, these are mostly for me. Like, I can see the dice when I actually think to myself, do I want to make them again? So it's not so important that you can see it. And I can always make promotional videos with a better camera, so not the biggest deal in the world. What is the biggest deal in the world is this thick-ass flashing. Why is it so thick? Is that mostly done? If it's mostly done... Ow! Ow! Ow, 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 owie, 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 owie. There you go. Sometimes it's good just to break up the dice by doing that, so it just breaks the flashing. Sometimes that does just make life easier. One sec. Big crack. Big crack. There you go. There you go. Oh, you and your big crack, Myrtle. There you go. Alright. That seems like they're ready to come out, maybe. Did I say maybe or maybe? I hope I said maybe. Let's just make sure all the cavities have the resin taken out. There was some resin in there. And there we go. Alright. So, I want to get some of these, and I want to spray it on, like I mentioned before. And just, I'm going to use this cloth, even though I know it's got soap in it, just because at least I know what the residue being left behind is. And there we go. All the flashing's gone. Except for this one little piece that's still connected to that dice, and that's gone too because the surface is wet. Lovely. Alright, let's write down what was under it as well. And then we can see how these ones went. I'm expecting these ones to be a little different to what we've been pulling out so far, but we'll see when it pulls out, like the weight of the mold, obviously. Alright, surely you can see that. These look good. Can the camera see that? I hope the camera can see that. One sec. There you go. That's the kind of thing you're looking for right there. Like that nice, like really obvious cloud. Like, again, camera. There we go. There you go. That's the kind of thing you're going for right there. It's still not... Stop focusing! No! Never focus again! No, I need to, like, get rid of these. Can I just... focus on the dice. Why do you focus on everything except the dice? Focus here. Focus here, please. I beg of you. I beg. Should I maybe do it like this? No. Oh. You saw it for a second and then it like stopped focusing. Oh, that's a shame. These are really good. These are exactly what I wanted. Well, not exactly. I wanted a bit more red in them, but these are great. These are good. These are super good. So just be careful with these ones. The edges are a bit more fragile than the other ones because these are a higher quality, sharper set of dice. So unlike the other ones where I didn't really care as much if I made a mistake, I am just going to pay a little bit of attention to these. Sorry for anyone who's actually watching, is what I would say if anyone was actually watching, which they aren't. Alright, let's there you go. Let's just these came out really. There we go. And what you can do at that point is just like a big long kind of swipe like this. Like you might get a little scared that you see like those white lines and those white bits pop up, assuming I'm even on camera, which I'm probably not because I need to do this to be a bit more on camera. But, you know, just rub it across the entire length of the dice, it's fine. As long as you're not pushing down enough to actually cut into the dice, like it's not going to leave a mark that'll stay there. Unless you're doing it from the wrong angle like I was just then. But basically all that's doing is removing the excess. The dice, like, thing itself is usually pretty solid, so you're not really in too much danger. Like, you could do this with your fingernail instead, it's just that you'd hurt your finger doing it. Alright. And you can even push it down a little bit, like this at the end. Because it's still a little bit soft, it actually will take a little bit of malleability from you, which can be helpful when it comes to this kind of stuff. The more you can kind of get it clean now, the easier it'll be to finish it up later. But yeah, that is a lovely, lovely set. Not that you can tell, but I promise it's good. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take some photos of that later. Nah, that doesn't work over there. I'm gonna have to take some photos of it later to prove it, I guess. But yeah, they're good. Good dice. Do that 7 more times. I'm gonna just take them all out at once at this point. When I say that, this is the first cast, so you do want to be a little careful. I don't have to be as careful with these ones, but like it is possible to rip the numbers out the first time, and you super don't want to do that because people tend to like numbers on their dice. That tends to be one of the main things that you put on there. Right. So these ones are the different D4s. These ones are the crystal-like ones. This one didn't actually end up with a lot of... Yeah, it floated, didn't it? That's interesting. So there wasn't enough pigment. I was scared of there being too much, but there wasn't enough, see? Basically, the more white pigment you have, the more it's going to sink. The one side is the side I put at the top of my dice, because if a side's going to look bad, it should be the worst side you can roll, right? And I'm seeing a lot of white on that side. Now, for these dice, I guess, like, to be fair, oh my god, that is so hard to open. I specifically did put some extra white on the top, because that's all the resin I had left when I was trying to overfill the molds. But it's something I'll have to keep an eye out for, because if that's consistent in other mold types, then what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want... Holy shit, that is hard to do. This is a very strong silicon, by the way. What you're going to want to do is something, I don't fucking know. Am I here? Was I talking? Oh, Jesus, that was difficult. Alright. Put that one back together so they can't get any contaminants in it or anything like that. There we go. Chunky, 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 chunky. Bish, bash, bish, bosh. Good. Alright, we're getting through them. We're getting through them. 2 more sets after this, and then I might take a bit of a break. And we'll be on step 3, I guess. Oops, almost got myself immediately when I said I was going to take a break. Maybe I won't. Maybe that's an omen, huh? And yeah, just if you ever feel like you have to force the dice, try not to. Try to come back to it like from a different angle or something. Because if you're forcing it, you're probably just cutting into the original shape, and that just means it's going to be harder to get it like looking correct in the end, right? Anytime you feel like there's any sort of like resistance, there's probably a reason for that, right? Like you can see there, I probably did push a little too hard on one side. Oh, actually you can't. In that case, I did it perfectly. No notes. But you know, a lot of that usually is just discoloring anyway, from the fact that you applied force to it after it was used to the pressure force of being solid, so a little squirt of that will probably fix it right up and no one will ever know. It'll be fine. There we go. Oh boy. This particular dice, this like specific one dice, seems to have gone a bit of a brunt there when it comes to the sides. It might have been moved around a bit when I stuck it down. I don't think it's very noticeable necessarily, but it's something I know. So that's something I'll have to remember about this mold in general, which is not a deal breaker. Just something to be aware of. It's fine. Every mold has something you have to clean up at the end, and that's okay. There we go. That one I think is done. And again, just gonna keep doing that like several times. Some of these will be easier than others, just depending on how flat they were in the mold when I made it. The flatter the better for reasons that might be obvious. You don't want any raised faces or anything like that. Like, that becomes a huge pain in the ass. Huge pain in the ass very quickly. And it's just something you want to avoid if you can. You know, the higher up the faces, the harder it is going to be able to paint anything, the harder it is to sand things down. It's bad all around. The one good thing about these dice is they only actually have 3 sides, so it actually works out to be relatively easy to clean. I actually prefer these to the other ones. The other ones have that weird side where it's actually quite hard to actually not cut into the edge. Well, there you go. There you go, there you go, Camry Crows. Is that good? I think that one might be good. just gonna push down with my finger to try to mold it into place a bit as well. This is always very, very helpful. You'd be surprised just how effective that can be. And yeah, there's another dice done. You can't see the clouds inside on the camera for whatever reason, but they're there. Also, I think I know why I'm going crazy. The camera's upside down for me. One sec. How do I change that again? The thing will change. Right here? Yeah, that's better. Now the camera actually faces the way that I'm looking, for the most part. I think that'll be easier for me, because now it follows the way that I'm expecting to go. It's going to be in reverse for you, but do I super care if it's in reverse for you? I don't know. Do I? Not really. Yeah, that's fine, because then when I pull back and then when I go there, I don't know, it feels better to me. No, that's dumb, that's dumb, that's dumb. It should at least be like that. That way you at least see the 3, is that right? Am I... No, now it's upside down for you. Am I stupid? You know, I might be stupid. Yeah, that's correct. Why wasn't it like that before? Alright, this is how freaking physics works. I did it. Physics. Yay. Now everything isn't like insane to try to figure out. But yeah, you can kind of see the clouds in the video, this one at least. That's kind of the effect we were going for. We were hoping for like half red, half orange, and I think we just got orange. But it's alright. I'm gonna have to keep working on the formulation of it though, because I want a set of fireball dice that are what I wanted to make. Like, these will all be fine. These are good looking dice, but... the curse of the fireball continues forever. Why? I am considering at this point, right, just making a set of dice in 2 batches. Or it's just, okay, the first batch is red, the second batch is orange. The only reason I don't really do that is I don't want like a clear disconnect in the colors, right? But, lord, would it be easier. Like, I could even still put the clouds in it, I just put the clouds in it each time, right? I am cutting towards my thumb, that's a good idea. That's always a good idea. Everyone tells me what a good idea that is. They go, hey, Mr. Outback, you know what would be a good idea? Cutting towards your thumb. Like, what a useless appendage. Out of all the fingers to lose, I think the thumb's the one to go. Alright. I seem to be almost at the... oh, this dice, I should say. There's still a few. But, yeah, these ones didn't lay down quite as flat as they could have. But that's okay, there's always cleanup when you're doing the dice. And overall, you know, these turned out quite pretty. I can't remember if these were supposed to be like highly polished or not, looking at them. I hope not, because I do think I did a good job at polishing my master dice. So I'm hoping that these weren't master. They weren't! No, of course they weren't. These were from my previous set. I only polished one of these for my masters. Yeah, okay. Cool. There's still hope for a really good master set then. Oh, I'll be really happy if that turns out to be true. I spent a lot of time polishing the master set, like a lot of time. Like, these are good, but those should be basically a mirror finish if I did them right. Oh, I'm so excited to see those. If you hear my voice drop when I see them, then it'll be okay though. I think that'll be good. Ooh.
careful not to cut the sides, big boy. If you cut the sides, the dice are worthless. Yeah, these ones should harden up throughout the week. These take like 7 days to fully set, and once they're hardened up, I do think they'll turn out to be quite clear. Like, they are quite clear as is, which you might be able to tell more with these ones. I can't quite tell if you can see it properly. I'm not looking at the camera too much. Yeah. Mostly, when it comes to stuff like this, it's a matter of just not being too heavy-handed on the color. I advised not to cut the resistance, and then I just did it. And to also just make sure your surface is as polished as you can. A good surface polish will make up a lot of the process of actually making good dice. One of the reasons a pressure pot is so good is it gets rid of those surface imperfections that trying to cast them yourself will actually have. Like, even inside the dice, if the bubbles aren't on the surface, they'll still make it less palatable overall. Alright, I think this dice is done, almost. Almost stabbed it, that was a good deal. Alright, is that dice good? Oh. These got a bit of, I used Vaseline to hold them to the bottom of the mold. He's got maybe a bit too much of that Vaseline on their sides, like maybe they shifted a bit. It's okay, it just means every time I make these dice I'll have to cut these the same way I'm doing now. Which, as you can tell, adds a bit of time to it. There we go, oh good. Like, these will sell on my shop for sure. I'll have to prove it later by taking a photo, but like these came out quite nicely. In person, quite lovely. I also have gold numbers with my favorite gold leaf paint on them. Be nice. It will be nice. And they will be much clearer in like 3 or 4 days as well. Just because of the way that this particular run works. Isn't necessarily good if you're going to stream them on camera to people. But, you know, that's not the main goal of the stream. If someone watches, they watch, that's fine. This is mostly so I have a record for myself of what my process was. So if I go and like forget about what I've done later, I can just go, oh no, it was this. Oh no. Oh, phew! I thought that was really bad, but it was fine. Oh, that was scary. Okay, that's okay. I thought I completely ruined that one for a second. Yeah, no, that's all good. Alright, cool. One left of this set, and then we'll move on to, I think, my secondary monster set is the next one, because this one's empty, right? Yeah. So I'm running out of dice. I do wish they turned out a bit closer to what I wanted. I'm gonna have to look into why it's not doing it. But the thing is, I do this with other colors, right? And I'm gonna do this today with pink and blue, and it's gonna work. It'll work fine. But every time I try to do it with red, it just doesn't work. The red just bleeds into everything. I don't know why. Like, they don't make bad dice, but like every other set I do, like I can make a clear distinction in color. It's not difficult. And then these freaking fireball dice come around, and they're just like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. You're using the same technique you always use, but I'm cursed. Screw you. Which, you know, I would like to be able to have repeatable results. You know, I have a very specific bushfire dice in mind. And if they're not going to do it, it's going to be very annoying.
Like some of my most popular dice are the ice storms, and I want to have like a variant where it's like the bushfire, right? So you're gonna be like fire and ice, yeah. But no, Fate has different plans where the fireball dice will never be fireball dice. Speaking of fireball dice, any guess why the D4s? But yeah, like it looks okay on camera, I guess, but it really doesn't look like how it actually looks in real life. There you go, that's a little better. No! Why would the focus immediately go away? Don't read the word bathroom, read the dice. Read the dice, you absolute fucker. No! Oh, whatever. They'll be in my store later. You'll see they're alright. Alright. So this should be a strange set of dice, which has what were once a cheap, I think they might have even been from like Temu or something mold, which I've repurposed into a much better than original quality mold, because the numbers they had were quite lovely. And the people who made the molds had no respect for the craft, basically completely ruining their molds over time by not keeping a master set around, just meaning that like instead of being instead of being cheaper molds with dubious quality, they were just cheap shit molds with horrible quality. It's a real shame. Like, I think they started off strong, but just no one kept track of them, and they just went to shit. That's why I don't feel bad about improving it, because they were never going to do it. They were just going to offer terrible, terrible, degrading molds over time to scam you out of money. Which isn't quite the spirit of things, huh? Like, they were designed to break, too. That's the worst part. But yeah, like one of the molds, right? Like, when I first got into dice crafting and didn't know how to make molds, like, I tried a couple of cheaper molds, right? And one of them had a freaking sideways 3. Every number's the right direction except the 3. How do you get a sideways 3? Like, how does that make sense? How does that work? Like, either they had to use, like, metal plates to make the sides of the dice that they push together, or, like, someone just accidentally ripped off a 3 and then dremeled a new one in, but when they dremeled the new one in, they didn't look to make sure it was in the same direction as the other friggin' numbers? Like, what gives? Like, that's an impossible, like, a physically impossible, like, you can't actually make that mistake kind of mistake. Like, I don't feasibly know how you make that mistake. And there they are, just like, yeah, sideways 3, what's the problem? But yeah, no, those molds eventually, they were a good way to learn, I will say, but they eventually fell to shit because the people who made them just didn't care at all. And now if you try to buy one and you try to paint the numbers right, you just can't paint the numbers. Like, you paint it, you try to wipe the paint off, and then the paint doesn't come off. Like, if you want to spend like 5,000 years painting the number with a microscope, you can probably get it done, but it's so not worth it. Like, I have a bunch of dice from those molds that are just in a pile of, oh, you'll never get to use these. You know, maybe one day I'll try to paint them just for the sake of it, but like, it really isn't like the biggest thing in the world. I mean, I didn't say you know what I mean, but you definitely don't know what I mean, because I'm rambling to myself. I've been rambling to myself for... Wowee, 2 hours? No wonder I'm getting sick of my own voice. Who wouldn't be? Holy shit. Alright. Well, that's okay. Wowie zowie. So there's one dice in particular in this set I want to really make sure comes out correctly, so I'm going to pull this one out first. This one is actually from a different set of dice, where the original mold ripped the number out the first time, so I had to reorientate it in this mold, because this is all the resin I had left. But I just want to spend a careful amount of time making sure this dice in specific care of, because this is one of the first casts, so it's the most likely time the mold's going to be a bit rigid, and it's the most likely time where a number's going to rip out because of that. If I can get this dice out well now... Oh! Come right out. Yes! this is from my master set. How does that look? Oh, even on camera you can tell. Okay. Take a look at this dice. This is so shiny that even on camera you can tell that you can see through it. Oh, that's a good omen for the master set of dice, which isn't this set. That's the other set over there. But yeah, you can see just how shiny and see-through this one is. The camera's gonna have a hard time picking this up, but... you can see right through it, that's great. Oh, this set's gonna make some lovely dice. Look at that, that's like... not a mirror finish, but like, I should be careful not to expose my face. Not that I actually care if I expose my face, to be real with you. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Lovely. That's what I wanted. So, I did something funky-wonky with a couple of the numbers, can you tell? Yeah, a little bit. But they are improved. The numbers on these dice actually have a small flaw on them, like here and here. Like, you can see it really badly there, but then you can see where I fixed it here. You can see that pretty obviously now, but once I paint them in, it won't be obvious. But wow, look at that color, that's great. If only it actually came out red and orange instead of just orange. That would have been perfect. Like, where did the red go? I put red in these. Where did the red go? Like, I can see it. On camera, I don't think you can, but in the middle there, like, maybe you can. There is red in there. So it's probably different than if I had just cast orange dice. Like, here's like just an orange dice, for instance. It is different, see? But yeah, no, not quite what you'd expect. I'm gonna have to take some photos of that. The problem with resin dice, and the reason why I shouldn't bother streaming them, is it's really hard to get a good photo of resin dice. They look beautiful in person, but it's so hard to get the photo right. Like, you won't believe me talking about this, but this looks like a piece of jewelry. And on camera, like, yeah, you might be able to see it shiny in places, but like, it really doesn't come across. Oh well. Be really careful with this one, because I might one day make a master dice out of this. I'm not even going to talk on this particular dice, sorry. Man. Oh, careful. Yes. Can you see that on the camera, the scratch? Hey, you can, can't you? Where did that come from? I know the molds were potentially had something in them the first time. The first cast you do in a set of dice is sometimes, I was going to say referred to a dump mold, but that's not it. It's a dump cast or something like that, and the reason for that is very often there'll be like little specks of the resin or previous cast within them. I'm just checking to see if maybe there was some residue side in particular. This is the side. Yeah, no, it's not on the side though. So I don't think that'll happen every time I cast the dice. I think it just happened the first time because maybe there's a small piece of resin in there from the original cast, which is okay. That doesn't matter. Alright, so just need to cut that a little bit more and then be ready to go with the other ones, which I don't have to be so delicate with. Hopefully I don't spill too much of my blood on the fireball dice, because while that'd be a good aesthetic, I'm sure no one wants be positive. There we go, and that one will be set into there with the rest of them. Alright, so these other ones I don't have to be as careful about. These are just the extras from the previous set that I improved. So I don't have to care too much if they come out well. Just that they come out without ripping any numbers off or anything. Ah, get out, get out, get out. There you go. And we've got, what, like 5 or 6 of these dice to go. And then we can finally move on to the master set that should actually have the best finish. Again, the camera just doesn't really pick it up, and I need to stop actually like talking about that, but you can kind of see the cloud inside that one a little bit better. I'll have to make sure to take some photos where you can actually see what it looks like inside instead of just relying on my word for it. Ultimately, these will be polished later as well, so they should get very shiny too. There we go. But yeah. All very orange, very fireball. Kind of big beanie on the camera, which is funny, considering that's what we'll be doing next. Coating baked beans in resin isn't exactly my life goal, but it also kind of is. I'm very happy to make some delicious English breakfast dice later. Not that I'll be able to do those ones tonight, but tomorrow's stream, we'll be putting a bunch of beans in dice. Oh, that one's pretty. Can you see that one in the camera? That one's actually... the cloud came out quite nice on that one. But yeah, no, my next stream is going to be very cursed. A lot less technical, too. It's going to be very much jamming as many beans as possible into a set of dice, and hoping no one arrests me for it. Does that still look shiny? I'm just trying to see on camera if that looks like it's degraded at all. No, that seems fine. That seems perfectly finey-winey. Alright, there we go. Push the one together so I can get more residue in there. And once we cut these dice, we gotta move on to the final dice before I start working on the new ones for today. The new ones are gonna be a Fey Galaxy Purple-Blue set of dice that use a pink glitter, a holographic glitter, and maybe a bit less pigment compared to what I was looking at before, because turns out maybe you want to dial it back just slightly. Alright, come on. Cutty wuddy, cutty wuddy. Yeah, you kind of can see the red in there, I guess. I think I need to wait longer between casts and maybe not use as much pressure, funnily enough. Like, I've done this so many times, like it should be doable. I don't know why red and orange don't like to play. Maybe they're too close in tone. Like, I could fill it out by doing more red, obviously, but then I just have red dice. What's the point? What's the point? Yeah, that'll be good enough. Rub down the edges so that they're smoother and easier to deal with later. Ow! Did I just cut? Oh no, did I? Oh, I did. Is that bleeding or am I good? Oh, I cut all the way down my finger. What the shit? What the shit? You probably heard the scrape. Ah! Do I even have band-aids? I do. It's not that bad. I won't tell Twitch there's blood on my hand if you don't. Ah. Yeah, like, that's not even pointing the knife towards you, that's just, hey, maybe you shouldn't run a knife down your fucking arm. I was doing so good at not cutting myself on stream, and, like, you could hear that. That was visceral. Oh, well. There we go. That should be pretty good. Nothing else, I'm gonna have a lot of fireball, guys. That's nice. Oh, this one came up quite pretty. Look at that one. I would say that's almost as good as the monster dice I just showed you. Nice. I'm gonna get some good dice out of these. I'm gonna get some good dice out of these. Maybe I'll be making beam dice. Oh well. I think it's funny. Oh, careful, careful. Don't cut yourself. You've already cut yourself once. Was there a ridge on this side? These are originally cast in a different orientation. Oh, they could have been, because these were the stupid, right? These were the knockoff Chinese ones, weren't they? Oh, I'll fix that. At some point when I cast them again, cast them in this one, and then that fault won't be there anymore. Good for longevity of style. Because you can't see it now, but the numbers come out right. Right, this one's the D20, which is pretty straightforward with just its 3 edges. Just kind of, this one of the ones we actually can be fairly aggressive with it, because the D20 side is so small you can't really accidentally cut into it. Just kind of bish bash bosh. See, it went flying off and I'm not even worried. I really wish they had come out a little bit more two-toned. Oh well. They did come out good. I need to trust my instinct next time and I guess just use less color overall, realistically. Yeah. Ah! I cramped my finger there. That's not good. What time is it? 7? I start hearing my neighbors wake up soon. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. Hopefully I remember which set is which. I think I will. They all have different number styles. Am I bleeding? Yes. Yes I am. I'm super bleeding. I have the power to bleed. It's my superpower. Yay! Yay! Oh. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. once I do these, I am going to take a quick break because I need caffeine or I'm not going to be able to make it through the to-do list. Let me set up that. I don't know what time it is for you, but for me it's 7 AM and that's not because I woke up early. Alright, yeah, again, I think that one looks really nice. That one's almost exactly what I was going for. Apart from, like, more red, I guess. I have a plan to deal with that. It's what I should have done in the first place, but, you know, I was streaming. I didn't want to take extra time doing stuff, really. There was someone in there before. Might have a whole 3 seconds worth of watch time from this one. Wowee. As you can probably hear, this one's a bit rougher than the others, so I'm just having to work on it a bit more. It's okay if you see that little white bit there, by the way, that actually does go away. That's just a matter of stressed material. Usually, stressed materials almost always go away with alcohol or oil, by the way. Not just for resin. 3D printing. You want to make a really good 3D print? Sand it as dumbly as you want. Like, you don't even have to be good at it. Just sand it so the layer lines go away, right? And then on your 3D print, just add a bit of olive oil or cooking oil or canola oil or just whatever the cheapest, like, just kitchen oil you have is. Like, you could probably use butter even. Smear that around, and then once you do... Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Smear them around, and once you do, it actually creates, like, a film that gets rid of the distortions that cause the effect of the layer lines. So, like, see this thing here, right? This is a 3D print, and no matter which light I put this in, unlike other 3D prints where you're like, oh, I have to put it in this exact light or it doesn't look good, right? You cannot see the layer lines on this. It doesn't matter, like, you can see that one tiny one, but you can't see the layer lines on this whatsoever. This looks like a molded piece of plastic, and the reason for that is I used cooking oil on it when I was done sanding. Got rid of all the distressed layers, and everything starts looking clean and beautiful. You could mold these. They don't make these anymore. These are from a Cintiq. You could mold these and really corner the market. Just from like a 3D printed product, just because you used oil. Anyway, this looks good. I really do want that break. Not gonna lie. Talking to yourself for 2 hours with no one around, actually kind of exhausting. I'm sure that probably doesn't surprise anybody, but it's still true. Still true. Like, I can talk to myself as much as the next guy, but having someone to actually make you feel not crazy takes a lot of the load off of your brain there. Like, basically just having to have a conversation with myself for 2 or 3 hours is something I'll stop complaining about, because no one wants to hear it. Not even me. Alright. Almost. There we go, I can set the rest of that off with my fingernail. And I can just cut that up like that. I said cut that up like that. Alright, I am going to take... Oh, no I'm not. I have 2 dice left, never mind. Yeah, that's looking good. Like, these will sell on my store just fine. I just wish they were what I intended to make. The bright side, unlike previous dice, I won't have to spend nearly as much time polishing these. The previous ones required a lot of polishing, and I can tell even just from this that these ones came out much better quality. Which is good. I spent a long time polishing like the masters of these. I didn't get it perfect, especially with this specific dice, I didn't get it perfect. But before, they were barely taken care of. I really gave them a glow up. People seem to like my previous dice from this style, so I'm hoping that if I get any repeat customers for that style, they'll notice the difference. I put a lot of work into that. It took me like fucking like 12 hours of polishing, and it's probably not done yet. Like next time I make a set, I'll probably polish them again. It's crazy for this one, because this one doesn't even have numbers that are correct. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but the numbers on this one are a bit, like, wonky. Actually, no, they're not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different set. Like, realistically, what I should also be doing, just so you know, is I should be rubbing this off like this before I show them to you, because any fingerprints make it like thingy. You can see how there it's clearer now, right? Fingerprints are obviously distorting the surface a little bit. And at some point, I probably will want to rub those down. Maybe it's not actually that important. Like, they won't stay there. They won't just be embedded in it. This thing's hard enough that I can't damage it with my fingernail. Like, my thumbprint's not going to go into it. But it's a thing to keep in mind. I think this one got a bit of Vaseline on the side as well, unfortunately. Edge. There is a way to avoid that. You need to make a specific style mold. And what that does is, instead of having the possibility of having issues on the sides, it just makes sure all the issues are on one side. Like, to fix this, right, I'd have to sand this side, and this side. Where if I wanted to use a different style of cap mold, I'd only have to sand that side to fix the imperfections, and I wouldn't have to spend all this time cutting the edges either. Because the only imperfections possible would be right on the top. Which is a very useful thing if you're relatively happy with the idea of sanding compared to polishing and cutting. And you know, people have different preferences on that. One thing I'll do just before I take a break as well is make sure my voice is at the right volume compared to the music. I think this music is louder than the original music I was using. And because of that, I'm just going to want to make sure that the reason someone came and left isn't because they're like, oh, why is this a completely silent stream? Not because I care too much about having a viewer, honestly, but because I've been talking to myself for no reason if it's too loud. Because I do intend to cut this stream up into whatever parts are funny at a later date. I was going to say later today, because last time I did it on the same day, but this time I'm probably going to do it a different day. Even for me, it's getting a little late. I probably planned a few too many things for a single stream, but I'm going to do them anyway. Alright, so that's the last one there. I'm going to take a quick break. It's possible I might open my master mode off stream just to get the dice out. But I'll, like, you'll get to see them. Invisible person who doesn't exist because no one's here except me. There we go. I'm gonna get some caffeine. I am going to get some fucking caffeine. But yeah, fireball dice. Boom, fire, boom, explode. I don't remember how to change the scene anymore. Oh, actually, I also need to say stuff. I 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 need to say stuff because I need to hear how loud I am compared to the microphone. I need to say stuff. I need to say stuff. I need to say stuff. I need to say stuff for quite a while so that I have a backlog so I can turn off all the music and stuff while I do it. Yep, no, that was too early. Sorry, one second. No, that's not even the right song. It was this one. Do 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 do. I am talking. This is the normal volume that I'm talking at. This is the normal volume, so I can actually hear myself back when I'm done. Ah, no. Where is the thing? No. Oh, scuffed. There it is. There it is. Okay. No. Oh, scuffed. There it is. There it is. Okay. No. Oh, scuffed. Alright, so if I'm talking normally like I have been, it's about this volume. Can people even hear that? Like, have I been recording correctly? Normally like I have been, it's about this volume. Can people even hear that? Like, have I been recording correctly? Yeah, that does seem fine. Okay. That's fine, I just needed to make sure. I hadn't checked in 2 hours, and if I had turned out to have been talking to myself for 2 hours for no benefit, I might have gone something something. Let's switch to this song. And I will be back. Okay, testing, testing, testing. Is everything actually working correctly? We will find out in just 1 second when I figure out how to do this more efficiently than I've been testing it before. Out how to do this more efficiently than I've been testing it before. Did I really sound like that? God, that caffeine went in the wrong pipe, I guess. Did I really sound like that? God, that caffeine went in the wrong pipe, I guess. Okay. So we have the master mold to still open. This should be the best quality set of dice out of all of them. Again, really wish I got that two-tone, but I'm gonna stop complaining about that. These will still be good fireball dice, but they're not the bushfire dice. I have a mythical grail I am chasing, and these ain't gonna be it, Chief. But they'll be nice. Let's open this. This is also the first time I've used this mold, because I just made this mold. You might be able to tell from how shiny the tops are that I just made this mold. And you might be able to tell from the bubble on the top that they didn't come out the best. Damn it. How did a bubble even get in there? Oh, I know how a bubble got in there. Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. It's not a problem on the mold, is it? Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. It's not a problem on the mold, is it? Right? Alright, one second. Right? Alright, one second. Do I have a cutting bug to check out? Like, I know what happened. You could see on my previous stream, if you checked it out, that there was just a, just not enough resin. I didn't end up putting resin on the cap of this. So that's what happened. There was just a, yeah, I can feel dense with this. That's what I'm trying to do. One sec. That's what happened. Yeah, I can feel dense with this. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright. No, that wouldn't have caused that in every day. Yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, fine's a strong word, but the more important one is this one. Is there anything on here that caused? Fine's a strong word, but the more important one is this one. Is there anything on here? Yeah. Oh well, that happens now and then. Let's see if the dice at least came out prettier. Oh well, that happens. I really didn't think that's what happened to this set. I might, based on that, change my plan for the dice I'm going to make today slightly. Not a whole lot, but I might not put the sparkle thing in it. Because that thing can sometimes cause bubbles, and I really want to make sure I don't get voids. Like, in case you don't know what I'm referring to, see that right there? That's called a void, where basically there's a hole in the dice. You can technically kind of fix it, but not really. Very unfortunate. And there is a bit of a mark that looks a little bit like this on the one side. Not enough for it to have shown up in the way it has here. That is a void, not the imperfection. Although I think the imperfection might have happened in the same place as the void, funnily enough. One second, I'm gonna see if that's true. Although I think the imperfection might have happened in the same place as before, funnily enough. One second, let's see if that's true. But, yeah, I think that's... But, yeah, sad. That's sad. Oh. If it wasn't for this D8 here, is it D8, D12? If it wasn't for that D12 there, I could still make a full set because some of the dice there would make up for this. But not with the D8 gone. I don't have spare D8s. Some of the dice there would make up for this. But not with the D8 gone. I don't have spare D8s. Am I echoing in the background? Did I not turn that? I didn't turn that off. That's my bad. Okay, so what I think we're gonna do is we're definitely gonna make sure this mold is filled this time before filling other molds. We just want to make damn sure there's enough. Because voids are something that you really want to avoid. Because they completely like ruin a cast. This would have been completely fine if the void had happened in either one of the D4s. And it did happen at D4. But it happening on the D8 is completely destructive to the whole set. You know, one day I'll have D8 molds. Sorry, I keep saying D8, D12. One day I'll have D12 molds, but it's not today, so this is just an incomplete set now. Which is fine. I do like to give extra dice to people and stuff. So these will probably just get painted and get given out as a gift for free. But sad. These were my first master dice for my new polish set. These were supposed to be perfect. No. No. I actually haven't had a void in, because I've got another version of this from my previous master molds. I haven't had a void in this set of dice for ages. That's such a rare thing for me. Guess I just overextended slightly. Alright, well, let's take a look at this one. This one I'm curious about. It's a shame too, because you can see like how clear that is compared to the other ones. Like the other ones, I had to bring it to the camera to see that you could see through it. This one you can tell even just down here. But yeah, like the dice come out pretty nice until... stinky. Stinky. Oh well. Now, I just need... This one specifically I need to double check, because this one actually does have a corresponding mark on the top mold. So I just need to see if that is something I need to be concerned about, or if it's just, hey, that's where the little mark was, so of course that's where the void's gonna be. But just give me one moment. You probably can't see what I'm doing, I'm just cutting this on camera. There we go. Alright, so I just need to line this up. Just see if it lines up with where the mark I'm thinking of is. Like, it's obviously not, like, just that, but... No, it's obviously way too deep to have been caused by that. It might even be the other way around. This might have caused the mark. That's okay. I just wanted to make sure there wouldn't be like a weird mark on every dice that I ever make in the future. Because that would be tragic. Yeah, alright. Wasn't meant to be. Alright. That's okay. The next test will turn out well. We'll look out. Yeah, sad. Sorry, I'm just trying to get up to the light so I can see just a little bit better. This isn't the most engaging part of the stream, but you know, no one's here anyway, who gives a shit? Yeah, like, that's obviously where a void's going to form if there's going to be a void, but I don't think that caused this mark. This was just a void that happened to be in the same place. Like, it is way too deep. Alright. Well, that is absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. That is the worst. I am so disappointed. Oh well. All you can do is keep going, because next time you'll do better, huh? Wipe it off. I wonder if that mark went away. No. I think that might have marked it, which is actually not the best. But yeah, that's a shame. As you can tell, like, it's quite a good mold, based on the shine of the numbers there, right? You know, it's a little light compared to my last mold, but I really did think that would work. But yeah, I remember from the previous stream that there wasn't enough liquid to go around, and I guess that was just a little too true. Sometimes it works out even if you don't have it. This time it didn't. You know, if I hadn't made the D6s, I would have had enough resin, right? And that's on me. But yeah, like, I could replace this. I could just grab one of those, polish it up, and then I'd have a full set. But because the D8, D12, it's a D12. You make dice. You know what the different dice are. It's a D12. Yeah. Shame. Sorry, I'm just rolling the dice out of habit. Oh well. Let's get the D12 out. Let's see how tragic the D12 is. The other dice should be good. Not that it makes too much of a difference if they're good or not at this point, but they should be good. Let's take a little look-see-loo, huh? Once we make sure that this has been rubbed down, which I didn't do because I was distracted. Oh, so bad, so sad. Oh, a little stinky dice maker can't make his fucking master dice, huh? Okay. That's alright. It's been a long time since I've had a bubble. Technically, I went through 6 or 7 molds there, and only 1 mold had a bubble. That's actually really good odds. So, yeah, I shouldn't be... Never remove this dice. This isn't a real dice. This is the one that had the rip number. I need to remember that. There was enough to fill that, though. There was enough to fill that, but not enough to... This is the dice that... Oh, it's not even on... Sorry, one second. This is scuffed. I'm not even on camera, am I? Okay. This one here that's a different color to the rest, that's actually the one that had the rip number from the other set there. So I need to make sure not to take this one out. This is in there on purpose so that I don't get voids. These voids, theoretically, especially since that one's right next to there, may have been caused by the fact that there was still a little bit of space left in there. So hopefully if that did cause the voids, that's gone now. But yeah, let's keep doing the rest of the dice. Let's start with the shit one. Oh. Did I forget to put the white cloud in this? Like, I don't even see the cloud in there. I think I just forgot to put the cloud in this one. It's probably why it has a void. It didn't have enough friggin' didn't have enough, isn't it? Yeah, that's quite deep. Shame. Oh well. Let's get the good dice out, huh? Be some good ones. Yeah, look at you. That's better, huh? That's what we were That's what we were going for, huh? Like, isn't that a lot better? Shame I went better selling you. Oh. Did I not put enough white ink in? Right. Well, let's get these finished up. And I think we'll skip the step where I use the foils. Because one of the reasons to use the foils was to test a couple of techniques together, but those foils can cause voids, and I do need at least one set that doesn't have voids. Oh, some of these can be master dice, actually. That's a good thing. Always need master dice. Oh, I shouldn't be cutting directly above the mold, actually. If I saw someone else doing that, I'd be going, no, don't do that. Otherwise, you'll just get resin in the cavities you just opened up. Is the opposite of what you want. Okay, that one's good enough to put in the box, which... I guess what I'll do, right, is I'll package these with the other similar set, and they can be packaged together as a one-time deal. Yeah, that'll make sense. Real shame it didn't work out though. Like, you can see, like, very, very clear dice. This one has a void in it too, actually, doesn't it? This one's not too bad. This one's acceptable. I need to pump a lot more of the white in these, I tell you that much. Okay. I may need to rethink the dice I was going to make today. I still really do want to make dice today, so I might push forward anyway, but... that's very encouraging. that's okay. Obviously, that was very disappointing, but you know, those things happen. The next dice I cast, I'm sure will be fine. Yeah, it just didn't quite work out how I wanted, unfortunately. But overall, you know, I did get a couple of dice out of it that didn't have bubbles in them. Just a couple of dice. 1 or 2 bubble-free dice. I think the odds on the whole thing, actually not too bad. So these will go away to actually harden up for the next few days, because it actually will take a while before they are hard enough to actually be at full clarity. Then I will paint them and take photos of them, and they will look better than they do in the camera here, where they don't look as good as they do in real life. But yeah, those will be fireball dice. Not the super cool ones that I thought I was going to make, but, you know, fireball dice are fireball dice. I'm going to put those ones away. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to put out the BRB screen because I'm going to try to figure out what my next kind of stuff here is. But it'll be beans. So I'm going to figure out how much of a cup the beans take up. And then I will be back when I figure out how much resin I need to make that much cuppy bean cup beans 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 beans. Alright, so we're going to put beans in resin now. That's going to be lovely, I bet. So I already mixed the resin off camera there just to make things easier on myself, and we're going to mix this for the next 5 minutes. Alexa, set a 5-minute timer.
Good morning, Ken. 5 minutes, starting now.
And what we're going to do there is we're going to mix that for 5 minutes until it's clear, and then we're going to put a bit of yellow or orange resin in there. I know it looks like the resin is already yellow, but that's just because this cup's previously been used and there's some yellow, not filament, yellow resin at the bottom there. It's actually completely clear, see? So we're going to be adding some orange there to try to simulate the, oh gosh, I already got resin on me. I always think it's going to take longer before I get resin on me, and it's always immediately. Oh well. So yeah, we're going to be making sure we get that all mixed up, ready to go, put some orange in it, and coat these beans in it. Then I have a silicone mat behind me, where we're going to put the beans down kind of separated from each other. Probably have to pick them up with my fingers, unfortunately. And when those cure, they'll be much easier to use in dice without causing bubbles and voids like you just saw as a thing that can happen. And also without smushing into the sides of a mold and stuff. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you would want to have them resin covered first. God, is my stream that far back? Wow. Makes sense. Terrible Australian internet. It's surprising when it's not just completely ruined, you know? I'm just gonna mix off of the camera a bit, because I do know that it causes a bit of, like, sound issue, I think. Well, maybe it doesn't, I don't see anything. I'm gonna just mix on camera then. Oh yeah, no, there it is, see? Yeah, causes like a little bump. I have this on a lamp arm that I refitted with a microphone, and I just have my phone taped to it, so it's not the most professional setup. Does cause a little bit of sound lead if I shake the whole table mixing thoroughly. Oh my gosh, I got more resin on me. No! It's not like it matters. I'm about to just dip my hands in the resin, but, you know, it's the principle of it. The principle of it. And then after this, once we've got these all laid out, we'll finally be on the final step there. And I'm gonna just get rid of some of this text, because we're actually up to here now, because we're not going to be doing the foil today, I don't think. There we go. Ah, my hand! It always hurts so much! Which is what you want. If your hand's not hurting by the end of it, if you don't feel like it's going to fall off, if you're not concerned about a doctor, then you haven't mixed the resin hard enough and it's not going to cure properly. And which will cause much worse things than the voids we had. You think voids are bad, uncured resin is far worse. Far, far, far worse. I guess now it makes it easier for me to know which way the mold goes in. That's one advantage to it. There we go. But yeah, I will definitely, in this next batch, not this batch of resin, but the next batch of resin we mix today, I will definitely be pouring a lot more resin on the top of the mold. That's how you avoid getting the bubbles. You basically overfill the mold on purpose to the point that it leaks out when you close it. If you were here for the last stream, which you weren't because no one was, the last mold just, it didn't leak at all when it was supposed to, and like that's obviously the reason. Alexa, stop timer.
5-minute timer cancelled.
There we go. So I'm just going to take a look at that with my eyes to see if that looks mixed. It does look mixed. And I'm just going to grab that cup of bean juice we got earlier to try to figure out how much orange I want. Funnily enough, right? It's about the same amount of color as those fireball dice were. I think I'm going to err on the side of caution this time, because I want to see the beans, not a bunch of weird dots, right? So I'm just going to put... I was going to put like a fair bit of colorant in it, but I think I'm actually only going to put like 2 drops of orange in it and leave it at that, just to get the color. And then in the actual dice themselves, they'll have like a drop of yellow or orange as well, just so that they're kind of in the same theme. But I think that's honestly all I'm gonna need. Like you can see, that's already quite orange, and that's only 2 drops. This is the amount of resin I'd usually use for a small set of dice, by the way. These beans are getting the real treatment. So just mix this in until it's all like just one consistent color, and then we'll be all good to go. Oh, I'm still so upset that those master dice didn't turn out. Ah. I'm just thinking about what I want to do for my next set, if I want to use like a different technique or not. I do have a technique I like using, which I might switch to. Alright, that's all ready to go. So, I don't have like a tried and tested plan for these, apart from get a bunch of beans, dip a bunch of beans, and then put a bunch of beans on a silicon mat. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a bean, gonna dip it, and I'm gonna put it on a map. I'm just gonna keep doing that. And that's definitely not orange enough. That's okay though. The point of this isn't really to get the beans and... See, that's the problem there. You don't want like a bunch of resin underneath them, if you can help it. Maybe I should be using tweezers. I think that would make more sense. 1 second, I have tweezers somewhere. Tweezers will probably just pick up less resin overall, even though I'm liable to... Oh no, are the tweezers too big? Yeah, they're alright. No! No, that bean's gone forever. Alright. Moving on. You know what? A toothpick. Use a toothpick. Oh, even better, even better. I have needles. I have needles. I can use a needle. This is a big needle, by the way. I didn't know I had one this big. I was expecting like a little tiny needle, but yeah, like we'll dip it in like that, shake it off, and put it down. And we'll just do that like 10,000 times. Yay! I have my bean method worked out. This will definitely work, probably, maybe. Be funny if it does. It seems like every now and then we're just gonna lose a bean. Just the price of craftsmanship there, huh? Yeah, that's how you want it right there. That was a perfect bean. Here's me talking about beans for the next hour again. Like, for the most part, it won't be the end of the world if we do get a bit of extra resin on it. But it will be a little bit of cleanup if we do. So if I can avoid it, I will. I am a little scared that the resin might just slough off the sides anyway, and this will be pointless. But you know, we'll see. You will see. Don't try, I'll never find out. What I will also do is I'll put some of these in a mold, just to see what they'll look like if I didn't use like individual beans. Yeah, this will take a little while, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I probably should have pigmented the orange more, but that's okay. The dice themselves will be orange, so it won't be... oh, God, that bean's gone. So it won't be a big deal. I think we already know exactly which orange to use, because we used it in the fireball dice by mistake. Alright, let's get comfy, because this is going to take a while. I'm gonna try to set this up in a way where I can lean back as I do it. No! If there were peas, I could have just done peas. Baked beans are actually one of the harder ones, if you actually cook. Yeah, coloring it was pointless. I know it looks like it might be quite pigmented in there, but I actually am going to put more pigment in there, I think. Okay, let's mix that around and then we'll get back to beans. It's probably not very different, but it makes me feel better. I might even put like a little bit of, I just got through saying, oh, I don't want to pigment it too much, and now I'm hyper-pigmenting it instead. There you go. I know this probably looks really red on the camera, but it's going to turn out to be a lot more bean colored overall. Just trust me on that one. It looks relatively clear there, but it should dry the right color. Alright. I don't want to overdo it still, just in case it dries more intensely than it looks. Yeah, you might not be able to see it on the camera, but that looks better. That looks closer to the baked bean colors. Basically just invigorating the bean. Yeah. That one's a thick bean. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart. No! That one was funny, I wanted to show you. Oh. I think we can have little clusters of beans as long as they don't fall off they say as they fall off. I don't think I mind the clusters now because I can like kind of group them and arrange them later, you know? Oh, the music just stopped. I don't know why it stopped. I thought I had stuff going. Oops. I have changed my mind. It was taking way too long. I am not that patient. I have made a mistake. Oh no. For some reason I thought I could just kind of fish them out. Oh shit. Yeah, no, that's what. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I mean, no, that'd be too pigmented. I was gonna say, do you want to just pour some bean dice now? Tell you what, we'll pour some, huh? The D6s don't matter too much. No, they're not even gonna pour normally, are they? Alright, we were gonna make fire wild dice today, but now I'm gonna make bean dice. Sorry guys.
won't be enough for those ones. Okay, that's where the stream's gonna end after that quite reasonable crash out. There's no way I can get the phone to the pressure pot without completely destroying it. So that's it. That's the end. Goodbye. I will make better dice next time. Holy shit. Holy shit.